Hello everyone, my name is Clara LaMoy, and today we will be discussing Haniwa tomb sculptures. Although there are many Haniwa tomb sculptures, we will be focusing on the sculpture titled Man Carrying a Hoe. Here is an image of the tomb sculpture Haniwa, Man Carrying a Hoe. The artist is unknown and the figure dates to the Kofun period. During the Kofun period, Japan had no writing system, which helps explain the unknown artist. This figure was made from terracotta, a type of earthenware clay. This type of clay was abundant in the area and used for many different artworks found near the same excavation site, Akaporimura Tumulus, in Gunma. The man carrying a hoe currently resides in the Tokyo National Museum in Tokyo. As previously mentioned, the Kofun period in Japan did not have a writing system, therefore many aspects of the Kofun period are still a mystery. However, experts have concluded that Haniwa figures were intended to be seen. Haniwa figures vary in form, including animals, houses, religious figures, farmers, and warriors. They vary in form because they were meant to be anything or anyone the deceased would need in the afterlife. Therefore, Haniwa played an important spiritual role and was integral to the burial culture. Haniwa are large, hollow, earthenware funerary objects found in Japan. They mean clay cylinder, or circle of clay in Japanese. They are placed on top of colossal mounded tombs known as kofun, which means old tomb in Japanese. Keeping all that information in mind, let us take a closer look at the Haniwa figure titled Man Carrying a Hoe. This figure strikes an unusual pose, and he is orange rust colored. His elbows are pushed out and both hands are pressing against his chest. On his left shoulder he holds a hoe, which gives him his defining name. There are also traces of where a scythe was tucked into a belt worn around the waist. His belt is a layer of clay. Based on these tools, this figure represents a farmer of the time. This figure matches typical Haniwa characteristics by portraying the body with no sense of realism. The body has a cylindrical form, with the waist marked by a raised band of clay that flares outward in a bell-like shape. There appears to be a tie in the back, so this is most likely clothing around the waist. Beneath this flared section, another cylindrical portion extends downward. Additionally, he has a sword dangling from his left hip, denoted by a raised boomerang shape near the hip area. Looking at a close-up of the head, the figure has cut out facial features, including a broad smile and almond-shaped eyes. Over the eyes, there are raised clay eyebrows. Based on the facial expression, the smile is either there to drive away evil spirits and protect the tomb, or to express joy at the abundant bounties of nature. In the middle of the face, there is a raised clay nose. This figure exemplifies typical Haniwa characteristics, including a minimalistic face, cut-out facial features, and a small head. The head tapers to a point at the top. This tapering indicates that he is wearing a bamboo farming hat. Over time, as artists replicated Haniwa figures, the distinction between the hat and the head may have diminished, leading to their fusion in later representations. His hair appears to be in the hairstyle known as Mizura. There were two types of Mizura hairstyles common to the Kofun period. The first hairstyle, the hanging Mizura style, was reserved for the high-ranking figures. It involved parting the hair over the forehead and tying it up in bundles over the ears. The second is called the standing Mizura style. The standing Mizura is the style observed here. The hair is in a bundle on top of the head, with some of the hair parted and bundled on either side. This hairstyle was worn by low-ranking people and was a convenient style for working in the fields. On the sides, the figure can be seen wearing hooped earrings and has red, faint splotches on both cheeks. These attributes suggest that he had been a head farmer or someone involved in the building of the tomb. Here we can see the 360-degree perspective of the Haniwa figure. This interesting perspective on the side profile of the face and body highlights the multiple perspectives of this figure. If you look closely near the base, there is a large hole that goes completely through to the other side. In the photo on the right, you can see there is light coming through from the other side. When comparing this to other Haniwa, we see many similarities. Here is another example of a Haniwa figure. This work is titled Haniwa, Figure of Falconer. This work also dates to the Kofun period during the 6th century. Both figures are hollow and fashioned from slabs and rolls of terracotta. On the right, we can see the same style of cutout eyes, a raised clay nose, and a cutout mouth. The body is etched with fine lines, and pellets of clay are molded for the necklace. Strips of clay were used for the bows on his costume. Around his waist there is a sheathed sword, much like the man carrying a hoe, who carries a sword on his left hip. The Haniwa figure of the falconer has a round wrist protector, typically used in archery, and perched on his left shoulder is a falcon with a bell attached to his tail to frighten prey. Both of these figures are without a sense of realism. Instead, they focus on the symbolic representation of the individual's role or status in society. The Haniwa figure of falconer likely served as a symbolic guardian or companion, representing protection and status, which would help the deceased in the afterlife. The man carrying a hoe shares a similar task with helping the deceased by providing labor or agricultural support in the afterlife, symbolizing the importance of sustenance and productivity even beyond death. Without written documentation, it can be dubious to exactify the correct theory. However, Haniwa figures are believed to contain spirits that protect the sacred and help the deceased in the afterlife. These figures can be seen as a bridge between the realm of the dead, over which they presided, and the world of the living. They are breathtaking creations that have helped make the Kofun period recognizable for its cultural and spiritual significance. What are some modern funerary objects or cultural practices that serve a similar purpose to Haniwa figures in honoring or protecting the deceased? Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed this exploration of Haniwa and their role during the Kofun period.